you know, you need some release after
Yeah,
this.
come here, you bet.
Hi, Jesse. Good.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see all of you. So my name is Stu Johnston, and I work in the counseling service here at Luther. And I've been invited by College Ministries to do a short session utilizing Kora meditation and mindfulness. And I'm more than happy to do that. Just to introduce that to all of you, Kora is a meditation and mindfulness program that is geared specifically for college students. We've been offering it here at Luther College now for 3 years, and we have had over 200 students go through the program with actually some really great success. And so what we'll do this morning, we're just going to do a couple of things. One is, part of Kora is teaching people about mindfulness, what it is and what it might not be, and also then teaching some skills. And so I'm going to do one of the teaching points this morning, and then I'll lead you in one of the skills. I'll be back again in about a month, and we'll do a different skill then and a different teaching practice. And afterwards, if you have questions or any interest in Kora, feel free to approach me, and I'll be happy to talk with you about that. Okay? All right. Well, the teaching point I picked out, and I think this is an important one, because when I offer this to students, many students have had some experience with meditation, maybe in high school or in a particular group, And I always hear, Stu, I'm not any good at meditation. And I'm always like, really? Why? Help me understand that. And they will say, well, I'm not able to clear my mind. Well, when we teach in Kora, when we teach meditation, the teaching point that I have here is that meditation is not about stopping all thoughts. It's not. Your brain never quits making thoughts, and you'll just get very frustrated with this whole enterprise of meditation if you're expecting your thoughts to stop. Instead of stopping your thoughts, you're just trying to learn to notice your thoughts, not get carried away by them, and maybe not take them quite so seriously. So Kora uses the metaphor of the rushing river, okay? And we're really lucky here for lots of reasons of having the Upper Iowa River. And when I use this metaphor, I always refer to the Upper Iowa River. So we can think of our thoughts like a river of thoughts. They're constantly coming, they're not stopping, they're never going to stop. The Upper Iowa River, I believe, will always be running. Sometimes it's really full, sometimes it's really low. It's always changing, just like our thoughts, and it's always there. So when we're caught in our thoughts, it's like standing in the middle of the Upper Iowa River and feeling those thoughts constantly coming at us, and oftentimes feeling overwhelmed by those thoughts. So the goal is to pull yourself out of the river and sit on the riverbank and observe your thoughts. You want to do that. It's climbing out of the river again and again without judgment. Even a few moments of watching your river of thoughts rather than being washed away by them can produce profound changes. Each time you climb out of the river without criticizing yourself, you build self-compassion. The moment you notice you are back in the river and make the choice to climb back onto the bank, you have arrived completely in the present moment. So what I say to students is, you'll sit on that bank for a few moments and then you fall back in. Everyone does that. I do that. Everyone does that. And so the goal is not to stop from falling into the riverbank, because that's what happens. It's noticing it without judgment, maybe being a little curious about those thoughts, and climbing back on the river and just observing them and watching them like a stick float down the river, because they come and they go. So when you make that choice to suspend our judgments of our thoughts, and kindly with curiosity, we begin again with life, however it is. And that is, I think that's a lovely practice. I really do. To be able to notice our thoughts, see them come and go. Because here's what we know: thoughts are not facts. And we can sometimes get in trouble when we treat them as facts. They're thoughts. There are factual things that happen in life, obviously, but many of our thoughts are just thoughts. But oftentimes we treat them as facts. We can talk about that later. Yeah, so that's my teaching point. That meditation is not about stopping all thoughts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do one of the first skills that we teach in Kora, and it's belly breathing. You can see, for the people that are here, I have a book in front of me. This is the whole Kora thing. And when you go through Kora, when you become a certified instructor, one of the things they tell you is, do not try to memorize all of this. And so, man, I was like, okay, I'm good, I can do this. And so I haven't tried. I'm very familiar with it, but I haven't tried that. That makes it just, I'll be honest, quite makes it easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to do belly breathing, and I'm guessing many of you have done that. And so I'm just going to talk with you about the benefits of belly breathing, and then we'll do this practice in just a few moments. So we want to talk about how it is the breath is both involuntary and under our voluntary control. It can reflect our mood and also be used to change our mood. So if you think about what might happen in the body if we breathe more deeply from our belly or our diaphragm, and some of you here may have been music majors and you were taught that early on. The benefits of this type of breathing are increased oxygen to the body, decreased heart rate and blood pressure, and stimulation of the immune system, which, in the last few years have been vitally important. Importantly, belly breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming part of your autonomic nervous system that calms and quiets the fight, flight, and freeze system. So when we practice this, we are really engaging that part of our system. And it's a way to relax and to feel more centered. And that is one of the goals. So we're going to do this for about 7 minutes. And I will start with it with ringing the bell. I have a bell here. I'll walk you through it. There'll be a few minutes when you'll be practicing on your own. And then we'll finish with the bell. I have a timer on my watch. I will set my timer for we'll do this for about 7 minutes or so. That's usually how long we do it in the beginning because some people are like, boy, 5 minutes of meditation is a long time. Yeah, it is. And so we start out and we work our way up because mindfulness is a muscle. And we don't want to, we want to build up to it. And so that's one of the things we talk about in Kora. Are we ready to begin? All right. For this skill, it is helpful to kind of scoot down in your seat, lounging back a bit, making sure you are comfortable. If you choose to practice this at home later, you may want to lie down on the floor or bed. Also, when you meditate, I invite you to either close your eyes or you may leave your eyes open, gazing gently towards the floor. First, we're going to get familiar with the way each of our bodies naturally breathe. Now, put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Breathe normally and just notice whether the hand on your chest or the hand on your belly moves more as you breathe. If your chest hand moves more, that suggests you're a natural chest breather. Many people are, and that is perfectly fine. It just means that it may take you a bit more practice to figure out how to breathe with your belly. Now I invite you to place both hands on your belly, and let's work on starting to breathe more with our bellies. As you breathe in, push your belly out as best you can, so that your hands rise up. Let your hands sink back down as you breathe out. It may help to imagine a balloon being blown up in your belly as you breathe in. Feel your hands riding up and down as you breathe. If you are not used to breathing with your belly, you may feel like you're struggling at first. If you need to stop and take a big old chest breath and then go back to belly breathing, that is just fine. You also might play with making your exhale longer than your inhale. Really exhaling fully and slowly, pausing at the base of your exhale before taking a breath in. Remember, this is a new skill, and it takes practice to learn. Your mind will likely wander, because that's what our minds do. When you notice your mind has wandered, simply bring your attention back to the feel of your hands on your belly, riding up and down with the breath. Let's take a few minutes now to practice. You can try slowing and deepening your breath by counting slowly up to 3 or 4 as you breathe in. When you hear the sound of the bell, make a commitment to bring this level of awareness to all of your activities for the rest of the day. Thank you. I'll just, this is a really nice practice. One of the nice things about the breath is that we carry it with us all the time. So it's available to you anywhere. If you decide that you want to try this on your own, it is easy to do. It's just setting a timer. I've had many students who've come to Kora struggling with sleep, and they try this when they're going to bed, and they are part of Koru's, they log their experiences, and I will get logs, reflections that say, oh, Stu, I fell asleep and I didn't finish my log till the next day. And I always say, that's fantastic. If what you get from Kolu is a good night's rest, that's golden. And so it can also be something you can just, if you're going into, I tell students, if you're going into a class and you're feeling a little stressed, just stop in front of that classroom and just take 3 breaths. And just allow yourself to just take 3 breaths and then walk in and just make that part of your practice when you enter a classroom. It can really have an impact on how you approach it. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions or any thoughts, I'll stick around and be happy to answer them for you. So I just invite you to try this and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.